Hello, we are live. Huzzah! Okay, so we're gonna give everyone a few minutes to get here. But if everybody wants to real quick, oh hi Fallon, thank you for joining. There we go, there you are. So does everyone want to introduce themselves, and we'll start and go, hold on, that way.
Yeah, clockwise.
Do things reverse, yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Christine. I was literally here almost 12 hours ago on this very channel. You know me from the other stuff that I've done for this event. Yeah. I'm here now.
If you want to hear Christine, what was it? It was like weird stuff about dogs last night. That's how she introduced herself on my channel, was like yelling at her dog. Hi, Mitchell. Thank you for coming.
Hey, Mitch.
Hi. I know. I can't believe it's May already. Who else is like
the end of May?
Like
generalizing supremacy.
It doesn't feel like we've done 5 different rounds of this. Okay.
Hello.
Brianna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Brianna from Bullet Journals. I had to think about that for a second. Well, I've changed my intro on my videos, and I'm not putting my channel name for reasons that I can't talk about. So I forgot for a second. It's fine.
I went to search you, and I was like, oh, is this going to come up? Okay. It was funny.
You guys all know me. We've been doing this for 5 months now.
Yeah.
Wait, who are you?
Hi, you're the one that I'm the one that I talk gay books about with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And send Wikipedia pages of attractive people in Lucifer.
That's true. Our text chat
isn't that
off the threads.
I don't watch Lucifer, but isn't that like everyone in Lucifer except for the literal child?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just basically bisexual panic.
My favorite is Maze.
Yeah.
I mean, whose favorite? Like, even the straight woman's favorite is Maze.
Yeah.
So, okay, Bree, do you want to introduce yourself next?
Okay. Hi, my name is Bree, and my channel is Bree Bear McKay. You can see it on the screen where my name is. Yeah, you know who I am. It's all the same thing every month.
Carrie is here. Hi, Carrie. Welcome with your cute kitty cats in the photo. I miss having furry creatures. Oh, and Anne-Marie is here as well. Hello, Anne-Marie. Hi. All right. I think that leaves only Michelle to introduce herself.
Hihani Washte. My name is Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter, and I have Wendy's breakfast, and I opened my eyeballs like 10 minutes ago.
I will be honest, getting up this morning was a chore because for reasons I don't understand. Last night was one of those days that my body was just like, no, sleeping isn't happening.
Ooh.
It was like 3 a.m. before I fell asleep.
It was like 2 a.m. when I went to sleep.
Not by choice. I shut the light out at 1. So, anyways.
I got off your live stream and immediately passed out.
I assumed that was what was going to happen because you were like dozing through the entire thing. It was kind of funny.
I saw that and I was like, is Christine asleep during sprint? Did she fall asleep while live?
She has.
100%. NaNoWriMo.
I'm really reliable at this time of day.
Well, me too.
Hold on. My mother came in and then didn't close the door.
Come on, Mom.
Yes, my door. I am in fact. I mean, she brought me. I don't know what she brought me actually. I can eat it. So, I just have to ask questions about ingredients.
I just have iced coffee.
Nice. I have my my little sipper that's supposed to be purple with my It's not pink drink. It's like passion tea with apple juice.
Ooh.
It's really good. The Starbucks baristas turned me onto it, and then I made my own version, which is better because it's more concentrated.
What was it?
So it's passion tea with apple juice instead of water. So if you go to Starbucks and you ask for an iced passion tea and ask for apple juice instead of water, it's delicious.
I like the refreshers. I need to make one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that orange Valencia refresher used to be my
Oh,
jam.
that was so good.
I'm so mad it's gone because
Me too.
I would go every day and get like a venti.
Like the biggest one.
Yeah.
The biggest, like, no, sometimes I would get a Trenta, but most of the time I confine myself to a venti. You get it, no
Sugar?
water. It's delicious. Oh, it's sugar and caffeine.
When
It's the best
I
of both worlds.
when I was a barista, we also had it was when they were doing their like carbonator.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that.
We took the orange Valencia refresher and carbonated it.
No,
So good. Bree, where'd you go?
Bree ran away. We must
She's
have scared
like,
her. There she
My,
is.
my Sips by box from this month is all tea that I can use iced, and I'm so excited to take it to the pool and have tea all
Oh.
over.
That's funny. I never do almost never. This is like the only tea I do iced.
No,
All the rest of it.
either green tea or mint tea, and it's gonna be really good iced.
Interesting. All right. So we are here today. This is the 5th debrief for the Avengers Initiative Reading Challenge. I'm going to start out with the question, how is everyone doing in the challenge? How are we doing?
Oh, in the challenge.
How did we do this month?
Just in general. Well, well,
How did we do with the challenges? I got my second Avenger. So I now have Spider-Man and Captain America. The first.
Okay.
I don't have it.
Okay, so I have everyone but Star-Lord, and I'm one away from Coulson. And then I obviously don't have Loki and Valkyrie yet, but that's because I can start after this exact moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I have
Nice.
everyone but those two.
nice.
Nice. I have a whole bunch of books that I'm just gonna be like I have a whole bunch of boards that I'm one book away from finishing. So that's what this weekend is gonna be. Yes, let us know. Okay, so Fallon has not matched April's books to mission logs yet. So amazing. I have not done that either because I have a feeling there may be boards that or mission logs that are completed.
How do you do that? My brain would not work.
Mm-mm.
Like, I have to be
Nope.
like, okay, finish the book. That's where it goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I
where
have it like penciled in on the thing where
Yes.
it goes. And then when
Same.
I finish it, I get to erase the pencil and write it in pen.
I mean, that's what the theory is going to be. Oh, Fallon also got Rhodey yesterday, but I haven't actually sat down and penciled anything in yet. So the only ones that I know count are the ones that I actually put on the TBR. But I like the TBR I'm doing for Avengers isn't the only thing I'm reading. So I may have read books that would have hit. Like Patsy is going to fulfill. Actually, technically, I have Bucky now too, because Patsy fulfills 2 of the prompts on Steve's mission log, and then it'll fulfill 1 of the prompts on Bucky's.
So why the fuck would you not have made it a priority to announce that to be like, I got Bucky?
I forgot.
I am like
I think I'm this close to getting him. I don't know.
yeah. I'm like 200 I am
won't
200
make you
pages
proud,
away from
Christine,
him
I promise.
because I have to finish Ghost of the Shadow Market,
Oh,
which I had to
still?
stop. I had to stop reading so I could read this. So
Okay.
now I'm gonna go back to Ghost of the Shadow Market and finish that right after this live. That is my plan.
And Anne Marie is out here showing us all up because once they finish the makeup
Nice.
book, they will have everyone.
Nice.
They also apparently used a lot of Avengers powers. I need to be using more Avengers powers because I
Same.
haven't really.
you only have 2 Avengers.
Yeah, wait a hot second.
Anyways.
Get the Avengers.
Yeah, but I'd have more if I was actually using the powers. And
I'm
I
kind
just
of
keep
afraid
forgetting
that
that's an
if I never-
option.
My fear is that if I have all of them collected at like if let's say I like manage to finish like June's boards and Star-Lord in like the middle of June, that I'll just kind of stop reading. I'll be like, oh, I did it. And then I won't read a single book until July, kind of thing. So whenever I get close, I'm just kind of like, we're gonna not collect everyone.
That's so funny.
I did not do a TBR this month because I was on hiatus, and so like I just read, which in turn meant that I was not being strategic. So I don't have any of May's boards. I still have Bucky to get. I'm 2 hours away from the audiobook.
I'm disappointed in you all.
I'm sorry. Did you want me to read In the Ravenous Dark or? Yes, In the Ravenous Dark is not Bucky. Nevermore is.
Well, I want everyone to read In the Ravenous Dark.
Oh, that's right. We added an extra board. I hate us so much. Why are we adding more characters?
I'm
the one that every time they're like, hey, maybe we should add someone else to this month. I'll be like, no, I'm already so behind.
Well, some of us do well at the challenges. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty close on a couple characters. I'm pretty close on a couple different ones. And like since I just finished Rise of the Red Hand, I have to put that in on the boards that
yeah, see, Rook is doing the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah. I do the same thing.
Same.
I have my TBR is like 3 different, like I'm trying to finish Hulk, Wanda. Technically I put Bucky in there, but I've already finished Bucky. We're just gonna say it. And then one other one which I don't remember. So
see,
anyways.
I think if I finish my TBR for this weekend that I'm like planning on reading, I will have Star-Lord, Bucky, and Coulson, I think. Like all in one weekend because I was like one book away from them.
Yeah.
I just finished Star-Lord.
Nice.
I'm getting in where I finished Rise of the Red Hand.
Once I get my bullet journal spreads set up.
Oh, she frozen.
We lost her.
Oh boy.
I'm this close to getting Shuri, and I'm pretty sure I have part of Bucky, so
I just can't believe you guys all don't have the exact same priorities as me.
Reading books is hard for me.
Okay, I have to finish Ghost of the Shadow Market, and that's it. Okay, I had to stop that so I could read this. So
that's so disappointing.
It's not my fault.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we will get there at some point because I'm sure all of us have a lot to say about this book, or at least those of us that actually read it. I think that's 4 of us at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done it.
So, anyways, how did we do on the boss battles this month? I think I did one of them. Did I do both?
The first one was the recommendation one, right? That was this month.
Oh no, I didn't. Yes, I did. I did do that one.
Yeah, you did do that on Twitter, and then you were like, "I can't even do this right because you spelled something wrong." I can't even do it bad right because I spelled it wrong.
I remember that now. I remember that because I wanted to recommend the Scorpio races, and literally that is how I always recommend it. I'm like, okay, guys, the horses eat people. Do you not want to read this? There are horses that eat people.
There were some very interesting, like there were some that were like pretty obvious. Like mine was super obvious, because I'm awful at it. But there were some people that were like did really, really well.
I can't remember the first book that I recommended, but then I also put A Nice Old Man Tries to Get a 14-year-old girl to fall in love with him. But I meant 12-year-old girl, so I had to go back and edit it. But
what?
What are you reading?
Think hard. A nice old man tries to get a 12-year-old girl to fall in love with him.
What? I don't want to think about that.
I don't want to think about that.
It's Lolita.
Oh,
okay.
He's not nice.
I know, that's the point. It's a bad recommendation. It's poorly recommending a book. It's poorly recommending a book.
it's interesting, like a lot of the commentary on that book too, because they're like a lot of people just totally missed the point.
Yeah.
So, all right, how did we do on the second boss? Well, was it a boss battle or was it a rescue mission?
It's a rescue.
mission.
I actually didn't finish it.
Wow.
Failure.
I didn't finish Bucky Barnes.
Failure.
I didn't
You
want
did
to watch.
not. Wow.
I mean, like, fuck movies and didn't do it.
The movie almost got me.
Wait,
Yeah.
then isn't the reward for? Didn't we
We
talk
already
about?
had Bucky.
No,
That's the participation reward.
no, but starting early.
That's the participation reward, isn't it?
Okay, just kidding.
Yeah. I participated. I did a number of them.
Just so that you know, I am making the graphics today. I totally forgot about them. I will put them in the Discord and on.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I almost didn't make the movie thing, and then I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch Zombieland because I've been meaning to watch it forever.
Oh, I love
and
Zombieland.
it was pretty good, except for like the random fat phobic comments. I was like, what's going on here?
I don't remember that part, but to be fair, I was a child, so.
Oh yeah, no, they constantly are like using fat people, like talking about fat people, and be like, oh yeah, like basically like push the fat person down so the zombie gets them, basically.
Oh yeah, cardio. That one rule. Yeah. I remember.
I ended up.
I'm like, you do realize?
Oh, you frozen.
Oh, am I?
There you are. Okay, you're back.
Go
You're
ahead.
back. My dad asked me if I wanted to watch a movie, so I went on Disney. First, I went through Netflix for a second, then I went to Disney Plus, and I just scrolled through alphabetically, and the first thing that I saw that I was like, "That's the one," was Cowbells. And I was like, "Dad, have you seen this movie?" And then he said no, and I was like, "Perfect, you're gonna love it."
With Sally and AJ?
It's like a blast from the past, man.
Right? No, I had just downloaded Peacock on my iPad earlier that day because the gymnastics competition was only on Peacock. So then like the movie that came up that was like recommended was Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes. Good stuff.
Oh,
You should
forced me to watch
the
that.
TV show Rutherford Falls.
I know. That's supposed to be my bribe. I started the first episode. I need to get working on more of it. I really liked that first episode though.
I really love it because Michael Grey Eyes is in it, and I think the first time I heard about that one, like I saw the trailer, I was super skeptical about it, and then I heard that they had a bunch of Native people in the writing room, so I was like, oh, okay, it's not just a woke white woman. Because I feel like a lot of the time you'll see shows that are diverse or trying to tackle like issues that don't affect white people, but it's a white person writing it. I just love the fact that I actually got to watch it, and I actually laughed, and then I have to get the subscription.
Being called out, Christine.
Whoa.
Sebastian Stan was in 10 movies, 1776 to 2011, and you didn't watch them all to save him. Ooh.
Hashtag fake Stan.
Christine.
Oh, Mitchell.
Anyways.
No, I have trouble with movies, honestly. I really like going to the movie theaters because it's like complete sensory deprivation. All you can focus on is the actual film. But I really struggle if you put on a movie in front of me and you're like, yeah, sit and watch that for 2.5 hours. I'm like,
I have to be doing something with my hands.
Doing something.
Also be doing other things.
yeah, I don't know. I just struggle with it. Like, I don't even know what it is. Like, because I binged Shadow and Bone 2 times, the entire show, twice in one weekend, right when it came out, and that was like fun. That was fun. I could do that.
Do you crochet? Because that is an excellent thing to do while watching TV.
I crochet.
No, it's so good to like be able to do something with your hands.
I once made a tampon string.
You should find some sort of like handy that you can do while watching a movie. It works. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I always like when I'm watching movies, I'm like, let's do something with the bullet journal. Let's do this. Let's do work on thumbnails or something. Like I need to be doing something.
while
the
I'm
thing
doing
about-
that.
the thing I like about crocheting is that like you don't really have to look at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I'm reading a book or like scrolling on TikTok or whatever, I'm not actually paying attention to the
Right.
like actual TV show.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then, like, if I'm watching with Derek and who is neuro normal, whatever that is.
Typical. Neurotypical.
I'm like, I just want
that?
Words are so hard.
like, you're not paying attention. And I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah, that's why I like reality TV though, because I can fully read to it. Like I fully will read a book and have reality TV on in the background.
There are certain shows that I've edited videos to.
Yeah.
I'm like, or movies.
You can do anything to the soundtrack of Dr. Phil. I promise. I promise you can do anything.
We found out last
That's
night
so
that
good.
Christine willingly watches Dr. Phil.
All the time.
It's very entertaining, to be honest.
It is.
Almost every day I watch Dr. Phil. I'm
It's
up
like
I
just imagining there are people like that out in the world. It's just really fun.
Alright.
and just the terrible advice he gives. Like
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. He's terrible. If anyone wants to chime in the chat, like with what you what you watched for your movie when you did the
Mhm.
Bucky rescue mission, you can. Carrie went with a solid choice to watch all of the Fantastic Four movies on Disney. Like,
Go big or go
that's gonna
home,
be an
right?
interesting experience when we just watched Winter Soldier. And so you have Chris Evans as two completely different characters.
Oh yeah.
Which I remember thinking he was really good as Johnny Storm. As someone who grew up on the show. Speaking of movies, do we want to start talking about the ones we watched this month? All right.
the one we watched this month.
What? Thor the Dark World.
yes,
Okay, so Thor Dark
God, that
World.
movie.
Thoughts?
The writing, the dialogue, like
Yeah, the dialogue is
I
bad.
forgot to watch it.
Oh my God. I felt like this one was
Or once another letter, forgot to watch
easy.
Thor.
Fail.
Okay, I didn't rescue Bucky and you didn't watch Thor, so
Hashtag fake
You
fan.
know what? It's my birthday month. I can do whatever I want.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying, like something about this month must have been the thing.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, hey, Sarah!
I
Sarah
think it's
is
just
here.
because I don't like Jane in this movie, in this particular movie.
I agree. She's
But
way
I
better than
always-
this one.
That I always forget so that it exists. I'm just like,
Mhm.
first Thor Ragnarok, that's it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that one. But
That
this is where-
one movie.
This is the one where Darcy actually shines. So I love
Yeah.
that.
But
Darcy
you know
is
what?
great in this one.
They also hired a comedian to be a villain in a movie where he has no lines. Like he doesn't speak English, I think, like once. And so it's like all Elven sprack. And it's like,
Well,
why would you hire this funny man and give him no material? So this
It's
you
true.
have
It's true.
to consider the timing. He was just coming off of Doctor Who.
but like it's not recognizably him. There's no
So
humor.
he just been in that is.
Imagine if Taika Waititi had directed Thor Dark World and had that cast and had like Christopher Eccleston as a villain. It'd be so fucking funny.
I feel
all
like
the
if Taika Waititi had directed Thor Dark World, Natalie Portman wouldn't have taken a break for the third one.
She wouldn't have been so useless in the movie because it's like they have her like as this awesome character with agency in movie one, and then in movie two she's just like, I'm gonna touch this glowy thing, and I'm like, bro, it's the whole movie, and you're like, what the fuck? And yeah, and then she's gonna obviously be amazing in Thor 4. But it's just like, yeah, I agree with R.S. Rook. Taika Waititi should be the only director.
I could get down with that.
Yeah.
I do like knowing where Thor Ragnarok goes. I feel like there was a lot of stuff that Taika pulled from this movie, as mediocre as it was. Like you could just like you could see the conflict with the Dark Elves and everything felt different watching it this time, because I'm pretty sure I was very much like, boom, yes, the Norse gods should wipe this whole entire race out. They're evil. And then you kind of
Wait, what? What?
the Dark Elves. It was or Malekith. I remember when I watched the first time, I remember being super on the side of Odin and the Norse gods.
I thought you're saying now that you're like, yeah, genocide sounds reasonable.
No. Christine!
You know what?
It's too early in the morning for that.
It's too early in life for that.
Why
Like,
does
that
it
should
always
never be
come
an option.
down to that in Thor? Why does it always come down to like, oh, we got in this one fight, we're gonna have to destroy their entire race? And you're like, holy shit, Odin. What the fuck?
I mean,
They
I
go
mean, think
He
hard
has
on that.
no problem solving skills.
think
None.
about who would be into a tall, buff, white, blonde guy. Just think about the type of person that would be into that, like as a concept in general. I'm not talking about like the person, but like the Viking mythology. Who would be into that? Of course, they're like, yeah.
My mom's super into Thor. We had a whole conversation about attraction, and the only person she could bring up was Chris Hemsworth.
That's funny.
But
yeah, like I was just sitting there, like I didn't notice that the first time, and this time I'm like, oh, this is very uncomfortable to be watching.
But you know, the Norse, they go so hard on punishment that they're just like,
yeah. But like in Ragnarok, it's positioned as like a bad thing.
Yes,
right?
which
is good because
Yeah,
again,
which I like.
this director who's like, but in these two movies, it's like, yeah, well, the Asgardians are being reasonable, and you're like,
it's our only option.
Were they being reasonable? I think they're insane. Ooh, remember when Loki killed a bunch of them? I think that might have been the right move.
I feel bad for their mama though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Frigga
that's like
dying
the
was
only good
hard.
scene in the movie, except that the fucking funeral makes me laugh. But because it's like, why did any of that happen? There's just like hundreds of dead people, and you're like, why? But yeah.
True. But yeah, like I think there's a part of humanity, or at least of like American culture, that wants everything to be very black and white. Like very like, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys, and you can really see that ideology in this particular movie.
Yeah.
So I really
compared to Winter Soldier. but seriously, like compared to I'm not just like pumping up my favorite Marvel movie, but compared to Winter Soldier, they're like, wait a minute, the government secretly being run by evil people this whole time? Like,
I mean, yeah, of course it was.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, the ideological position of the two movies is completely opposite.
There were consequences to us pardoning a whole bunch of Nazis and bringing them into important parts of our government. Who the fuck?
Wow.
Oh my God, they didn't just change their minds when we
Almost like
killed
they
a bunch
took
of
real
them?
life
Holy
inspiration
shit.
from this.
Like, I understand in some of the science positions. Okay, but like they actually, like if you look at the history, they actually were bringing people into like the CIA.
I don't even understand. I don't even agree with the science positions.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah,
problematic.
it's just a dumb idea. It's
I don't
dumb.
think they
Always a
deserve
bad
jobs.
choice.
I don't understand.
Well, no. My thinking, or what I'm trying to say is, they'll still do damage, but it will be less damage than like structuring an entire like information finding organization that's going to then move on to take down entire countries outside of the US. So,
but like, I mean, I think Arnim Zola was like part of the team that experimented on Bucky Barnes. Like, excuse me, no, there's like no job that he deserves other than wiping up my shit. Maybe like what?
Let him die.
Much of a privilege.
All right. So, is there anything else before we fully move into Winter Soldier? Was there anything else anyone wanted to mention?
The fight scene section and like the ending part was so
Bad.
painful. It was so painful. Like the idea was cool. The execution was, it just felt so anticlimactic. The most exciting part was when Darcy and Dude smooched. That was the most exciting part.
That was actually kind of funny.
That was the best part.
It was
that
like
whole section.
aesthetically, like visually, it was done well.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, yeah, I
It's
agree
a
with that.
beautiful movie. Like,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
though, like,
yeah, because it's so bad.
it's Malekith
Mhm.
standing in like the like blustering magical ether thing, and Thor being like, "I'm gonna stop you," and I'm like, this is some good writing here.
I mean, I feel like the fact that Eric Selvig was allowed to walk around
even
with no
remember
pants really just
Wasn't
tells
it
you
Ian?
everything about
You're right.
the movie.
You're right.
Like,
The
I'm
only
just like,
thing I don't like about the whole thing, just remembering when I've watched, I'm so like my brain is like I am so tired of Thor having to go through the mental anguish of having to like say goodbye to his brother every single movie.
time. I feel
That's
like
true.
that's just Thor,
I
a
know.
piece of Thor's personality at this point, because I'm pretty sure it's a recurring theme in the comics too, and in
Yeah.
Norse mythology. I think we're referring to Malekith, right? Or Malekith? I don't know. Christopher Eccleston.
No, the dude, the Darcy kisses. I think his name is.
Oh, he
Yeah.
had a name?
I think it was.
all I can
Ian.
think of is that he's in.
Oh yeah, it was Ian. I was like, he had a name?
Yeah. That's it.
Anyways, I think like my favorite part, honestly, was the part where they're examining Jane, and she's talking about like they're like, oh yeah, this is it, and she's able to like say, oh, so it's this, like able to take it to what an example in the real world. Just because I like the idea of magic being science we can't explain yet.
Mhm.
Well,
I like the part where Loki's a better dad to Thor than Odin.
Yes.
You've been a good boy, son.
So
And Thor's like,
good.
thank you,
I
Papa.
love it.
And then Loki's like, it's me.
Loki's like, I could give Odin parenting classes.
Actually.
I feel like a lot of kids of authoritarian parents would actually be able to give better parenting classes than some people who have children.
Yeah, well, it's like they learn from
100%.
experience.
But when you think
You
about
learn
that,
from
though,
what you
that's like-
experienced.
when you think of Loki's character development, though, that's just a genuinely kind moment. Like, he didn't have to be that nice.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, being that nice was not a convincing thing, right? Like, it kind of goes against Odin's personality. So he was just nice for the sake of making Thor feel good. And he didn't have to do. And I was like, oh.
Which is what makes their dynamic so endearing, because even though they're at odds so often, you can tell that you genuinely care about each other. I think
he wouldn't have been that nice to him authentically.
Yeah.
He just he gave him something that Thor needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's kind of cute.
I feel like he gave him something that he had wanted to hear.
Yeah,
from his dad. Okay, so Christine, would you like to transition us to the Winter Soldier?
Yes. All right.
Let's go. All right. So this movie came out when?
What?
I said this movie came out when?
The year is 2014. The month is April. The day is 04. The time is 2:40 in the afternoon. My mom picks me up from high school and drives my friends and I to landmark theaters on, I forget the name of the road in Whitby.
Fake fan.
We arrived late. Let me tell you that. We arrived late to the movie, and I walk in
Like
right
missed
as
the previews late? Or okay, never mind. Go ahead.
No, I missed the on your left scene. I missed that. Yeah.
You missed the introduction of your second favorite character?
I did. And so then he goes to him in the therapy room, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? I would soon learn. But yeah, I walk in right as friggin' Black Widow is crushing some guys on that ship, and I'm like, what am I doing right now? And that's the day that Marvel turned me bisexual.
That's the gay agenda.
And I remember
Marvel movies.
I remember knowing what was going to happen. Like, I looked it up. I looked up the cast for Winter Soldier, and I was like, Sebastian Stan. I've heard that name before. And then I clicked on his Wikipedia page, and I was like,
Captain
he was in Cap 1. What? I was like, he's the villain? He died. I knew it was gonna happen.
The thing you need to understand about comics is if you don't see the body, they're not dead. And sometimes
That's
even
true.
if you do see the
body, they're still
Yeah.
yeah.
Cap 1 came out in July 2011. I was 14. So, like, cut me a break. All right? I was a baby. But
still a baby.
Okay. But, like,
The fact that you're like, I was in high school in 2014 and I'm here going, I was out of college for 2 years.
no. Oh, yeah. I was in high school. I was 16. I was about to turn 17. But I was in the theater, and then the mask falls off, and he says, "Who the hell is Bucky?" And even though I knew, I was like, "Oh!" I just inhaled dog hair.
Rick is right. We did in fact see Fury's body. I'm telling you, like, even when you do, sometimes, like it. If you don't see the body, for sure they're not dead. Sometimes when you do see the body, they are. Okay, continue, Christine.
Okay. And then there's that scene where he's just like, I knew him. And I start sobbing just sobbing. I turn on to my friend and I literally, like, we weren't even that close at this point. We became close later. I fucking started sobbing into her lap. And she was like,
what the fuck?
and I'm just bawling my eyes out, okay? And then I go home and projectile vomit up all my popcorn.
Oh
okay?
my god!
Just
what a
so
traumatic.
much.
I would
go
personally leave that black spit out. My God.
I go home, I buy a subscription to Marvel Plus. I read all the Bucky I can. I get enough. I'm like shaking. I'm going through withdrawals. I go see it I saw it on its first day and last day in Canadian theaters. I started drawing fan art. I started reading. I was so fucking obsessed.
I'm so proud of you.
What?
And, you know what?
Have you mellowed
somewhat
out?
come back down to earth. We've somewhat come back down to earth.
Okay. If you say so.
Like, if you think this is bad, could you imagine me at 17?
I can. Because that was me with Lord of the Rings.
Have you guys seen the Bucky cardboard cutout that I owned?
Oh Lord! Please tell me it's life size.
I'm not surprised.
It is.
Yes, I love
Surprised at
it.
all.
I'll find that. I'll find that on Facebook and then I'll screen share it. And anyways, then I got a Bucky tattoo when I turned 18, and it's really gone. It's just
Uphill?
been a part of my identity ever since. I don't know what to tell you. I am become Bucky.
Nice. So one question I forgot to ask when we started with Thor. So we obviously, Christine has seen this movie in theaters. Did anyone else see it in theaters? Have we all?
I think I saw that one in theaters.
I think
I
I've seen
both of them in theaters.
I think the only Marvel movie I didn't see in theaters was Iron Man 2.
Okay. I think I've seen.
It was the one with the Wasp and Ant-Man, and then Doctor Strange.
The only ones I
can't
haven't
remember.
seen in theaters are the 2 Ant-Man movies and Doctor Strange, and I haven't seen those at all at this point yet, just because I didn't go see them. But all of the other ones, like, I saw them in theater, and that was the only time I saw them.
We always went to them every single. It's they always come out in May, April, and me and my friend Andy, we were roommates at the time, and so we would always go to the movie theater. All of us in like a big group. It was me, Calvin, Gage, Sean, this other guy, and then like a whole group and his sister, because she has the same birthday as I do. So we always used to go to the big group. And then at some point they were like, this theater sucks. So then they went to the one in Watertown, because the one in Watertown has reclined seats. And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to go see a movie. So that. But now our theater has the fancy seats. So
nice.
Good times.
All right. So this is the picture, I am assuming, of Christine's Bucky cut out. You are a baby. All of you.
Yeah.
That's okay. Nice.
And when I tell you, I put that in front of my bed so that when I woke up, the only thing I saw was the fucking Winter Soldier. Like, that's what I saw when I slept. My dog's
That's a little creepy.
You didn't have any ghosts. You just had Bucky.
You know what?
Over you. That's really sweet.
What's better to eliminate the monsters from under your bed than
you already got a monster?
Probably the Winter Soldier. Yeah. All right. So what were our general thoughts on this movie in particular? I think it's one of the better ones. So
one of the better ones.
I don't know that I would say it's my favorite, but I think it's I haven't decided that yet.
I actually took notes and then I stopped partway because I was trying to finish something, but basically it was Frank Grillo is a hot villain, Black Widow is a bad bitch, Sam Wilson is hot as fuck, and
True
oh
facts.
my god, Bucky at 1911. Also, when Peggy dissociated and then her lucidity went away, I was just like, I'm done. I'm out.
I know that happens, and I'm just like, oh, I need to leave the room.
It doesn't hit the same way anymore, though. It doesn't, like, they kind of ruined that scene for me because my Nana had died, like, really recently of Alzheimer's when I watched that. And so I remember that totally made me cry when I saw it. And now I'm just like, she fucking marries the dude. Who cares? I don't know.
Does she? For me, it was more. I was looking at it from Steve's point of view. Like, I'm really good at being in the moment with the characters, where they are at that point, and like, I'm just like, oh, that freaking hurts. That just.
I'm not anymore. And see, like, when there was no other material, when the furthest in time I had been was the Winter Soldier, it was devastating. But now I'm just like, fuck you, Steve.
That's because you hate Steve.
I do. Now I do. I didn't then, but I do now. But then I was like, Steve, you poor baby. Everyone you love is gone.
Also, some of the
Sharon scenes hit differently.
Wait, what was that, Michelle?
I said some of the writing is lame. I noticed.
Yeah,
like,
there were places I'm like, why?
I was like, what is going on? Because I wasn't sure if, like, all of us, he literally fought aliens with this woman, with Black Widow. He literally fought aliens with her. And then all of a sudden, in this one, he's not sure if he can trust her. Like, that's some misogynistic bullshit, man.
Well, as we know, Steve does not give a shit about women's lives. So
literally.
Anyways, I mean, he just found out the entire organization was basically Hydra, so I would be a little skeptical too. Just saying.
You know who the last person that deserves your skepticism is?
Oh no, I know he's absolutely 100% wrong. I'm just saying.
She died for us, for our sins.
Know that yet?
I don't care.
Listen, you got to kill Jesus first before you realize what Jesus really truly did for you. That's how it always works.
If you're
words.
Yep. A stand. What did he have? Like 12 stands? Like disciples? Yeah, I'm one of those people for Black Widow.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm right there with Christine Martin, unfortunately.
I'm right there with you, Christine.
Thank you.
She has a point.
Christine
has a point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're right.
Read the Bible more, Margaret. God.
No. We're moving away.
Winter Soldier.
No, I have feelings about the Bible. I'm still figuring those out. So.
Oh, fair. I'm actually 100% kidding.
I know.
Black Widow is one of the best parts of that movie, though. She
is, truly.
That movie is... So I know I've called it Sam Bucky the Meet Cute, the movie, but it's also Black Widow is a bad bitch, the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also like that Fury had, like, some, like, solo scenes.
Yeah, that was nice.
Show how, like, he's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, the scene in the car with the, like, right before the fight scene is just, like, I love that scene where he's like literally talking to his car.
Yes, it's so
It is
good.
functional. Air conditioning is fully operational.
Yes.
So good.
Well, he'll be
So
fine
good.
in Florida.
I think that's one of my favorite things about it is we get a lot of development of characters that aren't necessarily the main characters, and that's something we lack in like
Civil War.
Thank you for saying it. Thank you for saying it.
we lack that in a lot of them, honestly.
Well, even like in Thor,
All of the I was about to say all of the Iron Man movies, we don't get any development of anybody really, even
Except
though like
Tony.
right,
Yeah.
and even though like Black Widow is in every single one of those, she still doesn't get really developed well. Same thing with like the Thor movies.
Darby had no character development.
Yeah, it's
Jane has
all
no character development.
about the development of Loki and Thor. It doesn't focus on anybody else's growth, and it's kind of the same in a lot of them, but this one really does focus on the growth of quite a few characters.
Right.
Natasha especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Steve has less, like, Steve is more of a static character when it comes to character growth.
Oh, any character growth
Yeah.
is completely
Yeah.
destroyed by the end of his arc. So yeah.
Yeah, like
So, like,
he doesn't really change so much as he is put in new situations with the same.
and he has to react and develop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has the same beliefs and the same morals, and he's put in new situations that cause him, turmoil due to the fact that he wants to uphold his beliefs, but also the people around him are making that difficult. Tony.
Yeah.
And Sam,
Yeah.
Sam's character development from like 2014 to 2023.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's real good.
Yes. But yeah, that is
Is
true.
Christine going to be back for the rest of the live show?
Let us
Just
know.
like,
Please turn the camera off. Just let us know.
Just like him being like, I go where he goes, just slower. To him being like,
Yeah.
maybe the shield has a cursed legacy, and I need to like change that. Like,
Mm-hmm. But we're not there yet, Christine. Right now. Right now we're in the Winter Soldier.
I'm sorry, I can't unknow what I know.
Yeah, but Steve's arcs are more about him being like more about him adjusting to the modern world and like him being
Right.
awakened to things, like having his beliefs challenged and realizing that like not necessarily the beliefs needs to change, but that he is believing in systems that don't necessarily work as they
Right. Yeah.
which
I also thought
like-
the kiss between him and Black Widow was hilarious because she was like,
Mhm.
"Is that your first kiss since 1945?"
Yeah.
Like that. Like I didn't say that.
that is funny. I'm just like maybe he just wasn't expecting being kissed right then and not
Yeah.
into it, ma'am.
Dude, that's one of my favorite things about this movie is seeing Natasha go from being a loner to like falling in love with this family, and then we go into Civil War, and all she wants is to keep her family together, and it just rips my heart out, and I want to like die, and it just it's like that whole part because like when I was making the playlist, I skipped through watching I watched through like skipping forward every 10 seconds or so Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame just to like make sure I had everything in the right order, and like my heart was like completely ripped out and like blood was gushing and there were a lot of feelings because
Yeah.
Her too, just like going from like I just have a lot of red in my ledger and I want to like wipe it clean. That's why I'm
God, yeah.
like where she ends in fucking
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest characters, truly.
Mm-hmm. And like so much of that is emphasized here because like this is where this is the first time you really see her really create relationships with these people and not just worry about trying to make up for her mistakes. Like she's actually starting to build relationships here.
Yeah.
And
she's willing to like put herself really on the line legally and like publicly and socially to do what's
Well, I think I mean Matt's show that she is capable of developing relationships before. I think it's more that she just hasn't had anyone where she was with them often enough. Because like we have that relationship that she has with Clint, that they're close. So
But
I think this is the first time that she's been exposed to people that she's like, oh, okay, maybe these people too could be a part of my family.
She also feels really indebted to Clint, right? Like
Yeah.
she sees him like he saved her, and like he has his own family, and like she's kind of like on the outside of that. Whereas I think like the Cap quartet is more like, I guess it's not really a quartet. Because
Right now
Bucky
it is, Christine.
included. He never gets included. But
Well,
like
he's not around all that much.
well, like that trio of like Steve, Sam, and her is like a found family, and they all have a lot in common, I think. Whereas Clint is like an older brother, kind of that she,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Also, I just feel like she really did not get to process for like the good part of the first half of the movie, when when she finds out that she basically traded the KGB for
Hydra.
And then Nick dies, and then all of this other stuff, and you just see her go from thing to thing to thing, and she's just quiet the whole time, because like it's like, how do you process that?
Yeah.
The one thing that annoyed me was Steve being like, no, this massive government organization has to go completely down. Like, sir, that is not your decision to make.
He's right.
I mean, he's not wrong, but like, anyways,
He's
that kind of annoyed me.
Kind of guy, though.
He is. That's true, but like,
I agree with you, Anne Marie.
should have been. Yeah, we could have gotten some character development for Sharon rather than her just, existing. I'm still mad about that, and it has a lot of feelings in regards to comic books and how heroes are handled in comic books. But we'll get to that in Endgame.
That's like, to be fully honest, I don't like her character that much in the comics. I find her kind of grating, but like Sharon in the MCU is done fucking dirty. Let's
Yeah.
I think
the whole time I'm like, why are you here?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like no one invited you.
Oh, okay.
What was the point? We could have had Sharon doing I know we needed Nat, but we could have had Sharon doing a lot of Nat's stuff.
Yeah.
Well, in the
comics, it is her.
comic, in the Winter Soldier comic, that is who plays that role. Like that, like second fiddle to Steve. It is. It is her. It is Sharon. And to be fair, I like her better in that one. It's more. What happens after Civil War? I'm like, Sharon. Oh my god! But
if we had been brave enough to give Black Widow a movie sooner, we wouldn't have needed her to take over Sharon's role in Winter Soldier.
But wait, though. I don't think we need to erase the incredible character development we got for Nat. They could have both had meaningful roles.
Yeah, they could have. But like,
you don't have to have just one strong female character.
Yeah.
There can be more than one.
That we actually have females that have character development.
Well,
the same with like the Civil War posters when they had them like facing off. They have Black Widow on Iron Man's side and Sharon on Steve's side, and no Wanda. And I was like,
where was Sharon? Where was Sharon that entire movie?
Like,
we see her once.
You can't have two women on one team. Like,
no, that's not allowed.
But like, think about like, because Nat is such a crucial and strong character to the Avengers. Think about if they had switched, at least when we start getting into the conflict, Sharon and Nat's roles. So Nat is the one who is at S.H.I.E.L.D. having to process the fact that Cap is on the run. He has betrayed S.H.I.E.L.D., all of that. And Sharon is the one on the run with Cap. Like, that would have given her time to develop. And Nat still would have had her kind of like, I think she would have had a more inclusive role.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that idea.
Totally, because we don't like what we get to see of her is really.
Can you imagine
as a prop?
Can you imagine Nat being the one to go, sorry, sir, captain's orders? That would have been a moment.
But you know what, though? You know what? As much as like I really hate what they did with Sharon, and it's really, really emphasized in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, just like how dirty she's been done. I can't wait for her to be the villain in Cap 4.
Christine.
I can't wait. I don't care.
And this is why I'm not as mad at Steve as Christine is, because there were ulterior motives in Sharon not returning to the United States. Just saying.
Whoa. But we don't see any of that in Civil War. We don't see any of her.
True.
Like, I don't think she's been a villain all along. I think
we can't have two women on the same team, because what if they then talk to each other and pass the mental test?
It's fully true.
That's also why we can't. Oh my God, women and people of color, we can't have more than one in a movie.
No.
Because what would happen if they actually had a conversation?
Yeah.
Without
I don't know.
people,
That's not what I wanted. That's part of why I like Black Panther, is because it's like one white person.
Well, there's
Like,
two.
I just appreciate two, but like I
Yeah.
don't care about the other one. I appreciate just the change in pace.
Yeah. I mean,
But that's also Black Panther is my favorite, I think.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay.
Black Panther's your favorite MCU movie?
I believe so.
Nice.
Based on what I remember, like we're doing this rewatch, it may change, but based on what I remember, which is why not getting Chadwick in the next movie is gonna hurt. Like
mine's Ragnarok and Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know what though?
Favorites.
I don't think it'll hurt for me that T'Challa isn't in the next movie. I think it'll hurt for me that Chadwick isn't in the next movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Because like when I think of what I loved about Black Panther, it was like Okoye and Shuri and M'Baku, and I'm like,
probably one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm actually excited for this new one because I know she's gonna have a big role.
but I'm sad about why it's happening. Like I'm sad.
And I'm sad that he just like you knew how much that role meant to him, and
Right
he
next
only
to
got
Bucky,
to do
too.
it for one movie. Like that's what, or not, but like he only got one solo film, and you had to know like how important that. Like you can see in every single interview he does about this, and like how he interacts with fans. But we'll talk about that later. We haven't even met T'Challa at this point.
It is relevant to this film because Bucky is actually a Wakandan goat farmer, but
not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So we mentioned the fight scenes before we move on. We mentioned the fight scenes in Thor. How did we feel about the fight scenes in this one?
Fucking hot, man. The choreography.
I did not realize how much
It's so good.
gun scene there is. And like I for me it was about 2014 was around the same time that my brother came back from Afghanistan, and he had PTSD, and the whole time that I was watching, like now that I'm watching it, I'm thinking like I just remember my brother and like the way that you hear about Sam Wilson's story and like what happened to his friends, and then all of a sudden you have the attempted takeover thing, and with Bucky and doing his knife blah, and then you just see Anthony Mackie as the Falcon just and
I think my favorite fight scene in that movie though is the elevator scene.
Oh, that was so good.
Like the tension.
So here's my problem here. I like the elevator fight scene. I like the one on the bridge with Bucky and all of that, because then at the end, like those all seem very realistic. At the beginning, some of that choreo, and I'm coming at this as someone who did do martial arts for quite a bit, and so I have some training in this. Some of that choreo that Steve was doing, like those moves are not moves you use when you're actually wanting to hit someone hard. They're fancy moves. Anything that has your feet off the ground basically is a fancy move. It's not going to have a lot of power behind it. Now, granted, it's Steve Rogers.
Marvel science.
Granted, it's Steve Rogers, but still, I'm just sitting there going, that wouldn't have hit as hard as your
Okay, but again, like Marvel science, because let's remember the time that Steve pushed Natasha up and she grabbed onto a flying vehicle and her arms didn't shatter. So like Marvel
Yeah.
So
physics doesn't
anyway,
exist.
it just bugged me a little bit in that first scene. I'm like, okay, he wouldn't. That it's cute. You're doing good, Steve. But
What I will say is there are orgasms, and then there's the scene where Bucky has the knife and slides it across the car. And I'm just gonna say that the knife is better.
such a good with the sound design and everything is so good.
Yeah, but I think one of the scenes I really remember like in the theaters was when he like rolls the bomb and he's like looking for her and she has the cell phone that's like, and then she like jumps off and like wraps her legs around his face and then just like gets his arm all like. So I think the amount of times so my arm dislocates all the time. So when his left arm was like dislocated, he's like back into it. I remember being like, wow, that's power. And like this arm is dislocated over 40 times, okay?
Oh yes.
Like, whoa.
Liz wants us to recognize the moment where he drops the knife and grabs it with the other hand. That one is just like
that was a fancy move.
It was a fancy move, but it's so good.
It's so well choreographed. And also I think like before we rule out the possibility of a Bucky Nat as a ship in the movies, those Bucky Nat scenes were like because that's still one of the most powerful ships in the MCU and I don't care.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
But like
Yeah.
Anyways,
I wanted that so badly in the MCU, and they just don't give me anything.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a beautiful. It
would have been so beautiful. Two broken people like supporting each other as they fix their brokenness.
But also, like there's in Civil War 2, she's even like, "Do you remember me?" And in the comics, like he trained her, and like they had a long history together. And then Joss Whedon was like, you know what I'm going to do is ruin Christine's life.
Specifically,
Christine.
Specifically you, Christine.
Joss Whedon woke up that day and chose violence against me. But it's okay because then I was like, Bucky will not be with a woman now. But like forget it.
Yeah, I feel like just in general, when it comes to fight scenes, as also a martial artist, I just kind of separate like the idea that this is actually a fight scene, and I focus on this is aesthetics. This is all about aesthetics.
Definitely.
It's not gonna be because like just realistically in a real world scenario, it's not at all. You know,
in a real world scenario, you're using a regular punch, maybe some kicks, maybe a knee into his gut. Like,
listen, there's domesticated rhinos in Black Panther. Nothing of those
so different. Yeah, like
for me,
I kind of just like keep it like in a separate category of my brain, I guess, because like it's just they're two different things.
It's
fighting and movies are just they don't.
Way I can watch Captain America 1 and not have a historical aneurysm.
Wait, you said Captain America. You didn't say Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers won.
Oh!
Calling you out.
He's a fake fan.
Wow.
I'm not even in that movie. Why did I say that?
Oh my God, Christine.
You're right.
Okay, so
America won this month.
Any other thoughts on the movie before we move on to like the last little bits of announcements and some housekeeping we're gonna do?
I wonder how much property damage was done.
So much. So much. There's 3 helicarriers in the Potomac River.
Right. I have to think about all those random civilians like during the gunfight. Like that there had to be at least a few people that were killed during that thing.
If if Steve Rogers got rocket blasted into a public transit bus and somebody got hit by a flying Steve Rogers and they get bursted. Their guts would be everywhere.
This is not the boys, Christine.
Physics does not exist.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. When we're talking about property damage, a flying Steve Rogers would be like deadly, like a deadly projectile weapon.
Just like that scene where they were trying to take somebody out of the window, and then he gets shot, and then you see the other guy go down, and it's like, did that guy die?
We also don't worry about minimizing the damage in these movies, and it drives me nuts because that's something that you see in the comics so often.
I think they do kind of in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the most perfect part of the entire franchise. They do kind of talk about like how do we get what we want without like hurting people.
Yeah.
Right.
But we are 10 years into this project, and I don't think we would have that conversation in a movie, because in the movies it's all about the flashy side, special effects and the explosions.
Yeah.
Like that's why there's so much property damage in the movies.
Right.
So
that's like a lot of cars, and then it's like you have to go into the insurance. Like you would need.
Do you have insurance?
You would need an insurance
Fuck you owes
plan.
Sam a fucking like Honda Civic or something.
Like you would need an insurance, like some kind of insurance plan for the supers. Like that's
Right.
like you need superhero damages if you live in certain cities.
You do.
Sorry, Mr. Wilson. Like, what are you claiming? An assassin balled up like a turtle and jumped through my windshield. So, can you cover that?
Do you cover that?
Okay. That's
He ripped out my steering wheel with his arm.
All right. So before we get into the group book and spoilers for that, do we want to announce when we're watching the movies and what our group book is for June, so people who have not read the book can
start today if you can.
They can.
In Bucky.
Yeah, you can. So in June, we are reading This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Matar and Max Gladstone, and I have gotten lipstick on this. It's fine.
And then the book for that is on Scribd. Just FYI.
Yes. If you still fuck with Scribd.
I think it might be.
I don't.
I do.
Margaret was done dirty by Scribd. So.
They did. Yes.
like
And then
that.
the next one is A Song of Race and Ruin, which I don't have, but I do have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
Well, I like that
So
cover.
that's August. Yeah, it's the UK cover because the US cover has a sticker on it that's printed.
Right there.
Yeah, there, right there. I mean, at least aesthetically it works. It's better than some I've seen, but like,
I mean, at least it fits the color scheme,
No
but
sticker.
ugly.
okay. And then
Cover it up.
what movies are we watching again, y'all?
Both Guardians, right?
Guardians.
One, which is going to be on June 5th, which is next Saturday, and then Guardians 2, which will be on June 19th. I don't know what. Should it? Well,
The year is 2014. The
We
month is July. And I go into a theater with my friend, one of whom I had seen Winter Soldier with, and say, I don't know if I buy a Raccoon and Tree movie. And I leave going, I was
How dare you?
wrong.
I'm so excited to talk about my experience with Guardians of the Galaxy because I was a manager for a movie theater.
oh God.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And so like
Okay.
I got
Ready.
midnight premiere. I actually watched it before anyone else in the world, except for other people that worked at movie theaters, got to watch it.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
Because you had to replay it. You have to play it through the night before to make sure that it doesn't work.
Okay,
That it
Guardians 2 might be up for debate just because
It's
that
Juneteenth.
date is Juneteenth. So
Yeah,
we may figure something else out
Yeah.
for that particular movie. But we'll let you know on Twitter, in the announcements, something like that. Okay?
I would say we could probably go ahead and say we're not going to do it on that day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we're not doing it on that day.
Yeah.
But we don't have, we'll
We-
have to like
exactly.
talk
Maybe
about
we
what
can
day.
do a few throughout the week or something. Just to,
Yeah.
Second movie TBD.
TBD.
Definitely June
Somewhere
5th.
around.
Speaking of announcements, let's get into some housekeeping. We just have a couple of things we want to bring up. Who does
We
anyone
need
want to
talk.
Does anyone want to discuss it? Like, bring anything up
this an
specifically, or do you just want me to like
What's going on?
be the bad guy?
You have the notes.
Okay, great.
What's
Um,
happening?
So y'all can chime in as you go. I'm just going to go over what kind of we are going to be discussing. Just real quick, boss battles. We are going to be moving them more onto Instagram and Twitter as they were originally intended. It's nice. It's fun to have the Discord, but part of the reason we have the boss battles is for the interaction and all of that. So we're going to be like, there will still be ways to participate in Discord, and there will still be ways, like there will still be a thread, but just know that going forward, we're going to be transitioning away from doing them solely in Discord or majorly in Discord.
Kind of like how the first one was, where we were
Yeah.
trying to get people to do it on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. The second thing is, I guess before posting anything on another social media, like if it's something that's confidential in the Discord and you don't see us posting it on Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff, just check with us. Like DM us, say, hey, would it be okay if I added this to that?
We do bite.
I mean, we can't because COVID and we're far apart, but like, so just keep in mind that certain things may be specifically for that platform. Or maybe, for example, like something that we will tell you in the live show, but it's not meant to be disseminated amongst everyone just yet. Like we do try sometimes to give the live show people a little bit extra head start on things. Let's see. The other one is self-promo, guys. Don't be posting links to stuff that's not like a video directly directly affiliated with the particular readathon. If somebody's looking for something, like they're like, hey, does anyone have a code for this? Like that's a little bit more okay. But like we've seen some people like just going, hey, I'm a representative for this and you can use my discount code here. And that's really not appropriate, like in the general chat and stuff. So just please be mindful of where we are and the fact that like when you signed up, you did say there wasn't going to be like no commercial links. And then the final one, which will make Bree happy, is just please, oh my God, please check the announcements before asking questions.
Yeah, because we've had like, I think it was like at least 10 people repeatedly
In the
asking
same
the
day.
same question.
In the same day.
We have a spot for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and they're
We're
even
just gonna
pinned.
redirect you to that spot because
yes.
we
Yeah.
can't
So
keep doing this.
going forward, especially when it comes to group books, we will like for the first week or so after we announce them, we'll be like, oh yeah, it's here. You can find it here. But after that, we're not going to be answering those questions as much just because like y'all, they're in the announcements. They're in like there's a FAQ. If it's not in the FAQ, if it's not in the announcements, just assume it hasn't been announced yet, especially in regards to group books, because we're only releasing those a few months ahead of time. So like we're trying to give you as much heads up as possible, but also not drown you with everything. And you know, we need time to plan these things. So just keep that in mind. The announcements are there for a reason. The FAQ is there for a reason. If something is unclear, definitely like reach out to us. Let us know.
Yeah, but like in general, a lot of the questions that we get are announced in or are in the announcements and they're pinned. So if you go onto Discord and you go in the announcement section, click the little push pin icon and it will drop down all of the current information. We unpin stuff as it becomes not relevant anymore. So it's just the important stuff that's right there.
I am going to clean that up a little bit so that you won't have announcements in there that are from January. That's part of why, like, I'm going to be moving all of February's boards into the archive as well this weekend, just to get, because, like, I understand it's a lot. It's confusing, but it is there. So we just ask that, like, look there first before asking a question, because if it's answered there, it's really annoying to have to answer the same question 10 times when it's in 2 different places.
And you can also use the search feature on Discord.
We have a search feature?
Yeah, at the top of Discord, you can go in the little search bar and you can search a word or a phrase and it will pull up the instances that that word or phrase is used. So you can find what you're looking for if you just search it.
Wow.
So use your tools, guys. Use your tools a little bit instead of repeating the same things over and over again.
I just love you.
It just makes it harder
anyways.
for us if we're having to continuously repeat things. We're not able to like
And
do
it's-
as many
Also,
other
thank you-
conversations and like have other kinds of
Yeah,
chat
I was gonna say
and
that. Thank you
conversations
to
going
the
on if we're
Yeah.
oversaturating it with the same conversation.
content.
repeat.
Yeah, it's clogging
over
up the
again.
chat. And
Yeah.
thank you so much
to
to
people
the
who
people who are in there
Yeah.
answering some of those questions for
Yeah.
us.
you guys rock.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're
Like
better
I,
than
I understand sometimes like with boss battles and stuff that can get a little bit confusing or with boards.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that people are asking questions, but stuff that's like the group book or stuff that's been announced, it's like please check
Don't
those. Just
ask
check those places
who's
first.
Captain America.
Right.
It's only Sam. That's the only person that's Captain America. So don't ask that. That's in the FAQs.
It is not in
Only
the
Sam
FAQ,
has
and it is
ever been
not
Captain
going to be in the
America.
FAQ.
Well, now
Um,
Christine's gonna put it in there.
Speaking of which, I will be. I've updated the FAQ a little bit, but I will be like some of the questions I will probably put in the FAQ just so that it's there for you. We do try to have things in one consistent space. So, anyways,
I'm hungry, guys.
good for you.
Do we want to announce the item for June before?
Oh
we
yeah, what is the item for June? Because I don't remember.
Let me double check.
All right, while they're doing that, everyone can get their copies of Rise of the Red Hand out because we'll be moving on to that for shortly. I don't know how much of it we're going to talk about. Just kidding.
Mine's
I
in
have
my
thoughts.
iPad.
I have things to
My
say.
iPad, though.
Can you make
I'm glad you guys have things to say because I just like.
Well,
I have
we'll
It was a
see.
fever dream. That literally was a
All
fever
right, Bree, do we have the item for June?
Give me 1 second. It's being a little
It's-
slow loading.
Star Lord's Cape Jack.
It's what?
It's Star Lord's Walkman.
As I say, it's either the Walkman or what was the other one? For the next one, I can't remember.
His
I'm like,
Zoom?
I'm like 90% sure it's the Walkman.
I have. Okay, bye, Anne Marie.
Me neither.
You're not missing much.
You want me to- I'm gonna pee now because I have nothing to
Yes,
add.
it is the Walkman.
Okay, yeah. I was
Gold
thinking
star for
we're doing-
Brianna.
Okay, yay!
only because we're doing both of their movies or
Yeah.
both of his movies this month.
Yeah.
So I'll start out with a general question that I think I already know the answer to for the most part. But how did we like this?
No,
No.
no, we do not.
No.
I would say it's not my favorite book I've ever read, and I don't know if I would willingly ever read it again.
Margaret is
didn't-
being so nice about this book. You
I
have
know.
no idea.
I think I'm the only one that didn't actively hate it, but I also like feel like I understood the plot, and the plot is hard to understand. Like even as someone who understood it for the most part, I feel it is really like all
My
over
thing-
the place.
My thing is that I know how hard it is to get a book published and how hard it is to like get a book in the eyes of a publisher. So how did this one get a spot?
Oh shit!
I mean, oh, it's upside down. Hold on.
I didn't.
We've seen
read it.
far
I would've
worse
just
stuff
liked it
get
better as a
spots.
movie.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
I
have been
also
good.
have the question for those books.
So, okay, hold on. Let me see who is the publisher. It's Erewhon Books. I don't even know.
It's an indie publisher.
It's an indie publisher, so that maybe explains a little bit of it.
That makes sense.
Carrie did not like it all that much. So here's how I feel about the book. I liked the world building. I liked the idea of the plot and what she was going for. We're reading this right at the same time that you're seeing a lot of the stuff in Palestine. And so there were a lot of parallels that I think weren't intentional, but like were there. That like I'm saying like this literally just happened in the news. So there is a believability to a lot of what happens. There just were two things that majorly mess with me. And the first one is why her? Like specifically, I don't think they answered the why it had to be her as well as they could have. Because basically this is like, it's very much like the Hunger Games. And in the Hunger Games, there's a reason why it has to be Katniss. Like for all of the books, there is a reason. A lot of that is because people are forcing her into that position. For this, it was like, we're putting up we spent the beginning like establishing that she's just a lieutenant. She hasn't even been promoted,
And then all of a sudden she's got two people saying, oh no, you're the one that needs to be in charge. I'm like, why? That's a terrible idea if you have literally anyone else based on what we know of this character so far.
Right.
And then the other thing is there was a lot in here that contradicted itself. Like you would have conversations where they would say this one thing needs to happen or this one thing can't happen. But then the very next thing they would be changing their minds and like there wasn't enough like follow through between there. So this definitely could have used like just one more edit, I think.
At least.
So like just one more edit because there were places where the writing was good. Like there were lines I was like, that's
talked about the world building as being really cool.
The world building was fantastic. Where is the line that okay, here it is. So she's talking about she went into the prison or she's going down towards the morgue or something, and she's like, and I stick to it, it's grim, the worst, death, death, and death, but also quieter than hell. All the devils work in Central. Like that was good. Like all the devils work in Central. Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows what she's doing on a level. I just think that stuff with plot needed to be worked on for the most part, and world building needed to be worked in better.
The character introduction of was it Riz?
Riz.
Killed the book for me. I DNF'd it because it was like he was just like, I don't know, like we have this whole thing about like her, like everybody being poor and suffering. He's like, I hate my mummy because of my issues with my uncle. And I was like,
yeah. So Riz is an interesting character because he is very, very privileged, very obviously. But as you go through the book, you find out that he is more aware of that privilege than I feel like a lot of people that live in our world today are. So like that wasn't an aspect that bothered me just because I was like, oh, he's really privileged. He's probably going to learn something by the end of the book.
I really had an issue with like the writing style of it in the fact that, especially at the beginning, it read like a freaking textbook as far as like info dumping. But
this is a straight up zero draft. Like this is a zero draft. She's telling herself the story.
No, this isn't. I wouldn't say this is a zero draft because that would be far sparser. I would say that this is like a first draft, draft 2, draft 3. Like we're not complete yet.
Yeah, it's more of her having told herself the story than I'm writing a book, you know?
I wouldn't have had a problem with the info dumping, honestly, as much if it would have been in third person.
Yeah, true.
But you put it in first person and then you info dump, it just feels very weird.
Because nobody's inner monologue works like that.
Yeah.
But,
oh my God.
No, but this character's does, and it's really annoying. Like she literally talks to herself.
It's not just her inner voice. There were several places where people were quite obviously monologuing by the I'm like, is this a cartoon villain that we're dealing with right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of the, I was like, if you had just tweaked the wording and how you wrote this just a little bit, this would be delivering the impact you want, but it was a monologue. I agree with you about the world building at the beginning, Brianna, because she needed to be interacting with the world and revealing this stuff rather than just blah.
Telling you about it. Yeah.
The characters had enough of a unique voice. Like we were in 3 different movies.
Yeah.
And for 3, wasn't it you that was like you were 200 pages in and you're like, oh, this is a different character.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get halfway through a book.
I told my mom.
Different character.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It threw me off. It took me a bit. I was like so confused. But yeah. The way that I feel about it is like, here's the thing. When you go into a book like this, or really most sci-fi or dystopian type books, you know out front what the background plot is going to be, or like what the base plot is going to be, is about a government. You're in a character's head that's either like against the government to start with and like is opposed to it to start with, or they're oblivious about it to start with, and then in the middle they find out new information and discover new things that make them then finish the book out by trying to take down that government. That's what you expect going into any book like this. So knowing that, we shouldn't rely on that to draw a reader into the book, because that's not going to be interesting. Like The Giver, that is literally, the Hunger Games,
right?
Yeah.
The Divergent trilogy, dystopian or sci-fi is going to have that same base arc to it underneath it for most books like this. So when you're looking at something like this, you have to then layer with that something that makes the reader interested. So you need world related things that are interesting, which I think she had. I think she could have developed. I think she could have developed a little bit better. Again, I think it's the way she presented it.
You know what I will say though about that is that you. Oh, sorry. You can finish.
Okay. But you also need character development and relationship development, and that to me was really lacking. Because
I literally
we were even given the idea that this sister developed, but all we really saw of her was
to see them interact.
She had strong opinions about something at the beginning, and she had strong opinions about something else in the middle. That's all we saw.
She didn't care about her.
Yeah, that wasn't a development. That was just a continuation of showing us who she was.
You know what I also didn't like in this book? What I didn't care about because the relationship development it was too fast for the way the relationship was developing. The kissing. Why were they kissing? I can't believe I'm saying that, but why? Okay, Christine, what was your point?
When we're like looking at other dystopians, okay, like obviously Hunger Games is like it's hard to live up to that, right? Like that's hard. It's almost an impossible comparison. Divergent I don't like, so I'll easily compare to that. But what I will say is the geological situation, the way the world looked, actually made way more sense to me than either Divergent, especially Divergent, but also Hunger Games. I also idea of like supercontinents, like where like I think the way that I think that's actually way more plausible than
that makes sense.
The fact that the author is Punjabi or half Punjabi makes a lot of sense with why she structured this dystopian the way it is. Like there are definitely things that I was like, okay, this makes sense because she has there are places in the world where there are near dystopian, if not dystopian structures. And so it's going to look a little different when with someone like that writing it. I do think she was trying to do too much in this book.
Yeah.
Just like this pandemic that was very eerily similar to COVID. Like, okay, the scene where they were like temperature checking people and like funneling through their temperature checking scenes. I'm like, this is a Republican fever dream.
True. Anyways,
this is what they thought that the government was going to do.
I think the one thing that for me, I like the thing with Masiji and Masiji working for Central and everything. I think it would have been better to save that because we get to the end of the book and there was no, I didn't care that the woman died. Yeah. Like there was no reason for me to care. I know it affects the character, but I didn't feel that. So I think she tried to do several things and she should have just stuck to maybe two or one main plot, one subplot. Yeah. Because I think the fact that the virus was being them trying to take people because people were immune to that was a good subplot.
Yeah, that was a really cool concept, honestly.
On top of this main plot of her trying to find her family.
But it just needed more. But because we were trying to do 5 other things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't get enough of this built up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't enough of any one thing.
It sounds like compared to a book like Sanctuary, where maybe the writing skill was a bit more developed, but the plot and the characters, I was like, fuck you. I think this one maybe was from what I read of it and from what you guys are saying, it was more like all the ideas were there and the insights and stuff, but it just could have been crafted longer and maybe wasn't quite ready for
this either needed 100%. To have the plot streamed down or it needed 200 more pages because we just weren't given enough for any of the moments.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Another thing, more pages. I think another thing too is when you're going into something like this, you also need some sort of pull with the writing. Why would I pick this version of a taking over the corrupt government over another one? What in the writing makes me want to pick up this book over another one? And
the best way to market that to me is just to say there's gays in it. But
I thought it was the metal arms that got you going.
The metal arm did get me for this one.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
fair.
The metal arm was
Which
pretty great.
that brings up.
I really enjoyed the world concepts though. They were really cool ideas.
So here's my question though. There were some weird things going on with some of these replacements that I'm like, why are we? This doesn't seem anatomically correct, and nowhere was it highlighted more than when Sync had part of his jaw replaced, and they just didn't put the skin back. I'm like, why is the chrome showing if it's just the bone that's broken? Like, that's not even like we do that today. You would like, I understand if like you have to cut the arm off. Obviously, it's going to be a metal arm, but like, why would we not fix the rest of his face? Why is the chrome?
Because then it can look like a fun biomechanical tattoo.
I'm just like was his brain damaged?
Yes.
And the severity of his wounds did not make sense for the amount of stuff they had to replace. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Like his arm, that made no sense. None whatsoever.
I was confused by a lot of the like
why are we replacing so much of this when he just got stabbed?
Yeah, that's where I was just like, wait a minute. All I remember reading was that he had a hole in his chest. What's all of this?
Which
like,
is
there's a lot happening here for, a hole in your chest. Like,
and I understood like the crash, like he crushed some stuff, but he wasn't acting like that hurt. So like it wasn't referenced at all. So it was really weird.
Right.
Anyways, I don't know. I think like I might give the second book a chance when it comes out because I did like the world building. I like the way she structured the dystopian and stuff. But it's not something I'm going to be like rushing out to buy. What about y'all?
Yeah, I think she has a lot of potential as a writer. I think that she just needs to develop her her editing. I think she needs some more beta to really get a little bit more, feedback before she goes into publishing full on. Because when you get the feedback of like, well, it felt really info dumpy, then you're gonna go back and be like, okay, let me, fine tune and
there were definitely ways. I think Taru's first chapter was the biggest kind of sinner when it came to this. There were definitely like I could literally see how she could have written all of those paragraphs so that Taru is interacting with the world and revealing this information as you go. Like the first 3 pages of that chapter, most of it we didn't need because we already knew from Ashiva's point of view. There were a couple of things that I'm like, she could be reacting to this. Like there are ways to do it.
I think at this level, like this story would have been better as a visual media.
Yeah,
that would have been a sick movie.
It would be a good mini-series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or even as like a graphic novel series would be really
that would be
cool.
perfect.
Because all of that probably would be it for me. Because honestly, I'm gonna say what I struggled with, and the reason I put it down was like the writing for me, just like the tone of it. It wasn't so much like anything that was happening. I was just like, I right now don't have the mental energy for how dense it is, and
But as a graphic novel, I think because some of the dialogue was really, really good.
And the dialogue that I had problems with, that's more acceptable in a graphic novel because all you have really is dialogue, some of the summary, that kind of stuff. Like this would have worked really well.
I would agree with that because I sped read. So for me, speed reading a novel feels like reading more of a graphic novel style. Like that's how it feels to me when I speed read because I'm like chunking it instead of like
I understand.
word by word, so it's like it feels similar to like looking at panels in a graphic novel. So I think that when I started to speed read, it picked up a little bit and I was focused more on what was happening than how it was being explained or discussed or talked about. I was like focused more on what was happening than the writing. So I think it would have translated a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
All right. Any final thoughts on the book?
I don't even remember what happened anymore.
That says something. Well, I am excited for us to be reading This Is How We Lose the Time War next month. I've heard such good things. Hopefully this will not be our 4th dud in a row.
You know, but last month's was contested.
Yeah, and I think that like last month, it really depended on how you went into it. This
Yeah.
one, it was, you know, because of the writing. Whereas last month, it was like, if you went into it for relationships, you're golden. If you went into it for feminism,
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I think this is the most universally disliked one compared to
that we've had.
yeah.
And as usual,
was rough.
Margaret's on the sunny side still.
I can't wait to get to like. Well, I don't want to say that, but like, I would be entertained by like a book that Margaret was just like, I absolutely hated this book, and maybe Christine is like,
I don't know. I genuinely don't know if Margaret would like Into the Ravenous Dark.
I don't know that. No.
So I
Yeah, I don't
generally for the most part, most of what I read is it's okay. That's the lowest that you're going to get. It's very seldom that I dislike a book enough to give it 2 or 1 stars. You will have seen me rant on some of those. If you want to watch my wrap up, there is a book I massively disliked in that wrap up. I just was texting back and forth with Brianna because we were buddy reading it going, this is awful. Why is this happening? None of this makes sense. I hate this.
Was that the cooking book?
Yes.
It's the cooking book. I just was like, wait, when did he take his clothes off? Why are there no condoms?
Michelle's face. Michelle's face.
I'm like, okay, we went through her undressing. How did we get here? Anyways, I'm looking forward to the fact that this is nice and short.
Yeah, right.
That's exciting.
I think the audiobook is only like 4.5 hours long. Which
Yeah.
is
This is
And
Yeah.
reading in
the Midnight
letters
Library
would
is
be nice,
short.
too.
So
The Song of Rights and Ruin is not.
Like, even the margins are pretty wide.
that's fine though. I was gonna read A Song of Rates and Ruin anyways.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
same because I have it too.
All right. Anyways, so any last thoughts? Anything we want to plug before I let you go?
Don't forget that if you completed the boss battle, you can start
Not
your
even.
June stuff.
You just
now.
did one prompt.
Or, yeah, if you participated in the boss battle, then you can start your June stuff right now.
Yay!
Wait. Oh,
Yay
wait.
for you.
Wait,
Gold
'cause I
star.
couldn't figure out what I was gonna read. I can do that. Okay.
Now I can finish In the Ravenous Dark so I can add it to Valkyrie. I
That's so
literally
funny.
left 1 hour of the audiobook just so I can do that.
All right. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna be going in cleaning up the Discord a little bit for y'all so that it's less everything. So there will be a few
Margaret.
changes you'll notice.
Margaret, can
What?
you read Into the Ravenous Dark for us and tell us what you think?
I mean, at some point,
I think
maybe.
you would give it 4 stars.
Let's
Okay.
see. Hold on. What is this book about?
Because there is a really good relationship, like, and that's all she would care about.
There's multiple
there
really
was-
good relationships.
There's okay. Hold on.
But is
I
there
don't
any-
know.
An
I
angle that she
haven't
might
read
I
be
don't
used
think
to.
she would associate like as much as we did with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think that she would like the relationships enough to give it like 4 stars.
I mean, I didn't like the relationship in this one. Well, I gave it 3 stars, but like, I still was in there. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like you would, you would like these relationships a lot better.
Yeah.
But like I don't think you would like.
It
Yeah.
has a,
And I
has
like resonated with this on like such a personal
it
level.
has a love triangle.
No,
Oh no, it doesn't.
Well, yes,
Oh,
it
no,
does.
it doesn't.
Well, no, it's not. It's not a love triangle.
Okay.
Nope. It's more like a polycule of golden beautifulness.
It's relationship.
Oh,
energy.
okay. Relationship.
Oh my goodness.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna let us go. Everyone is linked down below. The links should work because I actually just created them instead of copy and pasting them. I'm not sure why the tiny URLs were not working the last time. So, anyways,
And remember to check the FAQ.
And announcements.
and announcements. I feel like announcements probably
It's
has
so
more of
good,
what people
Carrie.
are looking for, but anyways, so we will see you later. Thank you for joining us, and good luck with June. My June TBR will be out tomorrow, in theory, maybe. So, thank you so much, and bye.